We're very fortunate to have Janis Dalins from the Australian Federal Police coming to talk to us on Interpol World Television. Janis, thank you for coming on Interpol World TV.
Pleasure.
Can you tell us where you fit into Australian Federal Police, what is it that you do, and a little bit about your career history as well?
We'll start with the career history. That'll explain a bit how I ended up where I am. I joined the Federal Police in 2002. I was a software developer before then, chose to get out of the industry, get away from computers. Joined as a general entry, worked investigations, uniform, organised crime, counter-terrorism, and then my nerdy roots started to show and I went across to digital forensics. 10 years of digital forensics, there were a few issues we can see in the AFP, especially around low-level exposure to offensive materials. And from that, Project Stonefish was born, and that is where I work now.
So, Project Stonefish. Don't tell me it's going to have artificial intelligence in it somewhere.
Absolutely.
Can you explain what it is and what you're looking at?
Sure thing. Stonefish started off as an initiative to just simply and utterly reduce inadvertent and low-level exposure to offensive materials. So child exploitation and violence score, they're the two main ones we deal with. What we found was hash sets are great, but they're not so good at detecting new stuff. We looked at fuzzy hashing, which is established, there's some great products out there, but for real time, too slow. And some friends of ours at Data 61, which is a research organisation in Australia, said, have you tried AI? Have you tried neural networks? Well, fast forward about a year and here I am now. And that's the technology we're utilising to train some automated systems to, at the very least, give you that warning before you access a file as part of your case. Hey, this is offensive. If you're not cleared to look at this stuff, perhaps stop, call the experts in who are. And on top of that, we're building in another project, Funnel Web. They're all named after venomous Australian animals, in case you're asking.
I guessed, yes.
Yeah. So Funnel Web is an automation piece whereby any piece of evidence an investigator seizes, electronic evidence I should emphasise, USB stick for example, they can kick off the acquisition and get that forensic copy done before a forensic member has to attend and do it for them. So it gets done automatically. Say overnight, you're doing an afternoon shift, plug it in at 11 p.m, let it do its thing overnight, 8 a.m. the next morning, it's ready to go for you. But guess what? Stonefish has run beforehand, so before a human has even looked at the job, we've already had a first pass just to say, hey, you might want to look out here, here and here, especially because you thought this was a fraud job. Well, guess what? Now it's become something else.
Now, you talked about another organisation helping you develop it. Is public-private cooperation important in developing the tools and techniques that you're needing to use with these different projects?
Absolutely. And that's something we really want to emphasise and our Commissioner is very keen on, is the fact is police, we're cops. We do some research, but we're not a research organisation. In the early days, Data 61 have done a lot of work for us since as well on that real specialist area, but now we've moved into our own full-time collaboration with Monash University, the university within Melbourne, Victoria, and that is actually jointly funded. We are each bringing funds and people to the table to work on these projects with a specific application for law enforcement and community safety. Hence the name of the lab, AiLECS, Artificial Intelligence for Law Enforcement and Community Safety.
Now, some of the crimes that you've described are not just focused on Australia, they're international crimes and can come from outside Australia. How important is international cooperation and collaboration?
Critical. I would actually say it's number one because, I mean, we can stop and think, I can't actually think of an Australian crime anymore. It's all international, especially for us. So the collaborations, and I'll say it right now, Interpol World here, I've got to meet with some colleagues from overseas, 2 or 3 countries, and I already know that the minute I'm back in Australia, I'm going to be on that email, we're already going to be queuing up our collaborations and we're going to be working. The feet are going to hit the ground day one.
So you're seeing similar problems across the world in each country, and it's this sort of forum that allows you to identify and bring in best practice?
Absolutely. Look, we all chat on emails, we all have those quick comms here and there, maybe we'll get a report or two, but we never really get to have that sit down and just have a chat and get to know each other, know what each other's interests are and how we came to the problem and why we came to the problem the way we did. Because often, okay, my solution's great for Australia, but perhaps there's something in, say, the Netherlands that stops that part working. But the rest of it, we've got absolute commonalities, so let's do that together, make it the best we can, and then we'll take care of each of our specialist bits ourselves.
Now, everyone I've talked to over the last 3 days, AI has come into the conversation. Some were saying AI is the solution for this, AI is the solution for that. You've got a technical background and a police background. is AI just a cry, or is it a solution, or is it something big that people haven't been able to bound to get an understanding?
Yes. It's a tool. Yeah. And I mean, you look at now, we say it's a tool, that makes it sound unimportant and small. Well, how long ago a hammer was a tool, but that was the best invention we'd ever come up with. So time will tell, but I absolutely believe that it has a very strong place in law enforcement as long as we respect it and we know what it is we're doing. We have a common purpose, we have a defined goal, and we also recognise that we have a relationship with our community that we cannot cross, so we must respect that boundary. But absolutely, it has lots of potential.
And does that boundary fall into data protection and privacy side of things? Because with AI that's out there, with all the collection capabilities that we're seeing from a technological perspective, I could go away with the impression that any police force, any security force could gather complete biometric data, complete history on everything that has ever happened in my life and have it stored and use it for whatever they want. How do we protect the privacy of individuals?
Well, the privacy is certainly one, but I would also say the application. Pretty much every element, you have to stop and think, what would the community think about this? And for us, for example, we absolutely believe in transparency. That is why we've partnered with the university. So we want to report on everything we do so people know inherently they don't have to be suspicious of us. This is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, this is what we're using, and this is why. And as long as you get that community support, you can't go wrong. It is a challenge, and sometimes we have to wonder, is this the right thing? For us, for example, our first question is, should we do it? Not could. So should, could, how? Do it in that order and you should be safe.
So with everything that's going on, you're sounding as if all the solutions are out there and it's all working well, it's all hunky-dory. What's your biggest issue at the moment?
Wow, there's lots. It's certainly not hunky-dory. It's like anything in law enforcement. There's always something that needs to be fixed. There's always something to keep working on. There's lots of issues. I think, how much time do you have? Honestly, there's too many to list. And again, this is actually why I swing back to, I'm going to sound like I've been brought here to advertise Interpol World, but the fact is conferences such as this, where you bounce ideas, and sometimes, to be honest, I've done it, I've been blind to certain issues. You talk to a colleague and they mention, oh, we did this because of this problem. Oh my goodness, I hadn't even considered that. Yeah. For me, for example, I'm always scared about facial recognition because what if I get it wrong? What if, for example, in my scenario, what if I misrecognise, say, a child going through an airport as a victim of online child abuse? So now that family gets stopped by the police at the border and taken aside to have it spoken to, and we all realise, oh, it was a mistake, we apologise, but we've just made those parents think they're possibly going to be arrested for abuse. Perfectly innocent people. That terrifies me. So my thing is more about making sure that, again, as I said, we don't overstep, we respect our purpose, and we make sure everything we do is fit for purpose.
Now, interestingly, there's just been a report in the UK press today on a facial recognition trial in London, and the report says that the trial 81% of the time identified the wrong person. But I think it's balanced, and I think the report is probably taken out of context because it hadn't got the human in the loop, and it's the human that makes the decision. We've got Congress here, we've got a couple of thousand people from 194 different countries. We've probably got 2 to 3 times that amount who wanted to come here but couldn't make it. We've got the ability to get key messages out. If you were to put 1 or 2 key points out that you would want Congress and the people that couldn't make it to take away, what would they be and why?
To me, and again, this sounds a bit vague, keep encouraging that collaboration, and also at the right levels. The strategy people with the strategy people, the nerds such as myself with the nerds, with the techies. We keep that together, and you know what? I think a lot of those issues that we haven't even identified today, they'll get spotted early. The solutions will get spotted early. Let the people at the right levels get together, work together, and I think we're going to see some amazing things in the future.
Fantastic. It's been a real pleasure talking to you on Interpol World Television. Thank you for giving up your valuable time to come and give us an insight to what you're getting up to.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you.